Hi, my name is Rianne Letts, and I look after technology strategy for Investec. Today at Investec, I walk in and I go, what's coming down the line for us in technology? What are the goals we're trying to achieve? And how do I put all of the pieces of the puzzle together to help us get there? At Investec, we have huge growth targets. So I'm looking at how do things like AI, quantum, modern technologies help us achieve those goals? How do we organize our people around those new capabilities and the new problems? Do we have the right operating model? And then something which again is underestimated but hugely important is how do we tell that story? When I was at school, I loved doing everything from maths and sciences to art and music, and I was also quite sporty as well. So for me, my education wasn't a linear, obvious next step path. When I was growing up, I didn't have direction. I actually felt like I was a bit of a drifter because I didn't know what I wanted to be. I should say as well, I had an amazing teacher. And I do think that the impact a teacher can make on someone's career is underrated, actually. Guidance counselors would constantly talk to you about the main careers, doctors, lawyers, and accounting, things like that. I didn't get drawn to any of those things. Physics as a career wasn't a thing that was obvious to me, so I actually wasn't thinking about career. I was thinking about what's the next best thing I can do that I love that will help get me more experience. So one thing I think that working in science generally has taught me that I use today is that every time you go into the next level of your education, what you've learned previously is wrong. When you're in school, they say, this is what an atom is. And then you go to university and they say, that's not what an atom is, actually. This is what it is. And I think that really talks nicely to the work I do today at Investec in technology, because the technology world around us isn't constant. It's continuously changing, it's always evolving. And you constantly have to think, what I knew yesterday isn't what I know today. But the experience and the foundations you've built is useful. If you're someone who is at school and you don't know what you want to be, that doesn't mean you're not going to be something. Keep doing what your passion is and keep building your skill set. So my experience being a woman in physics, from the get-go, I had a lack of confidence. I walked into a room of 200 people with only a handful of us being women. If you feel like you don't belong in a room, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be in the room. Being uncomfortable in the room doesn't take away from the fact that you should be there. And just by virtue of you being there, bringing your thinking actually does change things for the better, and to not shrink yourself in that moment. At the minute, working in technology strategy is a very exciting place to be working. Quantum computing sounds like this really daunting thing. But if you're trying to grapple with what does it mean for me on a day-to-day level, I would just explain it in this way. Everything we've done to date with technology has been with what we call classical computers. And what classical computers are is essentially a way of representing the world in zeros and ones. Quantum computing changes things completely. If I was to use an analogy, I think analogies are always helpful in these scenarios. You might not know the game Guess Who, but if you imagine 100 people stood in front of you that all look different, male, female, tall, short, you get the picture. You get someone to picture one of those people, and you're trying to work out who that is. You might first start with, right, are they male or female? Yes or no. Are they blonde or brunette? Yes or no. Are they got blue eyes? Yes or no. And you go through a series of questions to eliminate to get to your answer. That would be the classical version. That's what we do today. In a quantum world, you are able to ask all those questions at the same time. And the magic happens in that the right answer, the right person, comes up as the most probable solution. So you measure once, you ask the questions one time, and you get the most probable answer instantly. What that means is you're not going to have quantum computers on a day-to-day basis. You're still going to have laptops as you know them. It's not a faster computer. But for certain types of problems where you want to have yes, no, does this work, things that take with classical computing years actually to solve, you can solve in seconds with a quantum computer when they become a reality. Quantum computing is exciting because it brings about possibilities to solve problems that currently today are really hard. Imagine quantum-powered AI. That helps you do everything that you're currently seeing in the world around you with AI much quicker, with much less power. And people are really excited about the idea of things like a digital twin. If you don't know what a digital twin is, it's this idea of being fully able to simulate something that's real world living in a simulated digital state so that you can do tests. So imagine me, myself, but not real, in a digital form that you could perform medical tests and procedures on, and it fully understands who I am, and I don't have to go for those examinations in the same way. Things like that people get very excited about. But the reality of technology when you work in most places is it's much messier than that. We don't start with a blank page every day when you come into work. You don't start with a new technology and a blank page. You've got years and years of transformation work that's happened before that. So there's a lot of work you have to do to understand, yes, this is what I can do now, but this is the reality of where I am today, and how do I get there? And I think there's a misconception that intelligence is knowledge, when actually I think intelligence is about being able to think about questions in a different way and give things a go. If you're going to excel in the future world of work, I would say start before you feel ready. Be comfortable with change. Be able to tell a story. That's really important. Be resilient, but also be creative. I don't think it's about IQ. I think it's about how creative you are in attacking a problem and how you want to problem solve.